Good afternoon. How long have you kept a promise? What I mean is, when was the time that you made the promise and then you actually kept it? What was the span of time in between? Most of the time, I suppose, that relates to probably just a few hours at most. You promise that we can get ice cream after supper, and that's going to be later this evening. Or you promise we'll go see a movie this weekend, and that's just a couple of days away. Or you promise that in a month or so we're going to get to go and go to the beach, or we're going to take a vacation, or we're going to travel to go see family and relatives. And you know that that's going to be within a couple of months probably. Maybe you make your plans and you say, we're going to take a really big vacation and we've got to save for it for a long time, so we're going to take it a year from now. That's a long time to have made a promise and then actually fulfill that promise. That is a pretty long length of time. Most promises don't go past that. I suppose unless we're thinking of the promises that parents make to their children to say, I'm going to watch over you, I'm going to protect you. 18 years they get to do that until the child goes off to college or moves out of the house. Those kinds of things are the big promises, and they can last a while, but most of our promises, we keep them and we fulfill them in just a short time. God made a promise to humanity, and He made that promise with Adam and Eve, of course, at the very beginning. But He also made a promise knowing that He was going to choose a nation on earth, the Jews, and then saying He was going to save them, but He didn't mean just them. He was going to save all people too, the Gentiles, the non-Jews as well. So God made a promise, it says, Galatians chapter 3, verse 8. Foreseeing that God would justify the Gentiles by faith, Scripture proclaimed the gospel in advance to Abraham, saying, in you all nations will be blessed. Abraham lived 2,000 years before Jesus, roughly. We are living 2,000 years roughly after Jesus. That is a time span of 4,000 years. That is a significant length of time for God to have made a promise and then keep that promise. From Abraham to Jesus, 2,000 years for Him to make the promise that He was going to save all people by sacrificing His own Son. Jesus came, and now it's been 2,000 years, and we are still living that promise. We are still seeing it fulfilled every time you think about and the person who comes to faith, who goes to the Scriptures, who believes in God, who trusts in Jesus, whose sins are forgiven. That is a fulfillment of that promise made to Abraham and fulfilled in God's own Son, Jesus. Until we see each other again, the Lord's blessings on your day.